Hey, and welcome to FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in. And now let's jump into today's episode.
No problem.
All right, we are live. Daniel, welcome to my show, and great to see you. Honestly, I really didn't talk at all because I always want to start right away recording. I feel like that we are always missing some part of the best stuff when we chat something before, and then it feels like that we are making up, asking how we are when we already talked about these things just a couple of minutes ago. So, Daniel, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, it's good. It's it's good. I'm feeling good and still see quite a lot of progress. So it's very positive.
No,
so
great.
It's good.
Nice. Would you mind, first of all, obviously I know you, but would you mind telling people a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you live, about your background a little bit, and how...
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Daniel. I'm 46 years old. I'm born and raised in Portugal, where I moved from around 20 years ago to Sweden. Moved to Sweden because of a relationship and been married, have a daughter with 17 years old now. I live in Sweden, and I've been living here all the time since then. Live in a small city in the south of Sweden called Älmhult. That it is actually the capital of IKEA, or is where IKEA started, and where still quite a lot of the main offices of the corporation are. And that's where I work, and I've been working also for quite many years. And I work in a position with the development of range and the supply of the range of the products that are available on the stores. So and yeah, like in any other corporation or like in any other kind of work, it is a global work. It involves quite a lot of traveling, quite a lot of I sit responsible for quite a big organization, and and it is quite stressful life, and it's fun, but at times it comes with a bit of stress. Yeah, and that's me.
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's about you, how we get to know each other. Tell a little bit about that. Where did you find me? How did we end up working together?
Yeah.
That's
So I met you, Turo, because I have been almost since the introduction of TikTok. I have been quite a consumer of TikTok, not a user, so I've not been posting. So I've been actually observing and consuming content from it. And by some reason, maybe sometime I was looking for fitness or for getting in shape or something like that. And you start appearing quite a lot in my stream or in the flow of videos that came in to me, and I followed you for I think for a year or something like that. And in December last year, you had a video where you posted that you were offering a personal training for 3 months for free. And yeah, at the time I didn't put so much thought on it, so more than yeah, why not? And I just followed the instructions, and it was about sending a motivation why I would like to get it, and what was a bit of my background and so on. And to my surprise, you sent me an email a couple of days after and saying that congratulations, you got it. And since then we yeah, you have been coaching me and training me and giving quite a lot of orientation. And that is now like 9 months, so that we have been doing it always in the same format, where in the form of a personal trainer. So
yeah. I was looking back. It was December 8th, 2023, and now when we record this, it's August 26th. So it's like 8.5, almost 9 months. And but if you remember back in like in December, what motivated you to start that your journey? What made you to reach out and contact?
Yeah, a bit the aspects that I was mentioning, it was a bit connected to stress, but I don't know. It's my personality always had put me in a position that in times of stress I have a tendency not to take very good care of myself. So during the pandemic, I was training quite a lot in the time of Corona, but then I doing sports, I broke a leg, and associated to that, I stopped doing exercise, and it went very quick. So again, I'm 46, and my metabolism is a bit different of what it was before, and I gained quite a lot of weight quite fast, starting having problems with sleep quality, starting to have problems with blood pressure, cholesterol, all these kind of things. And yeah, it was pretty I mean, my body was telling me very clearly that I needed to do some change, because otherwise my quality of life was about to get very low in very short. And I was already feeling that I didn't have the energy, and I started medical problems. So my blood pressure was quite high, and I had problems with cholesterol and stuff like that. And yeah, and either you can try to ignore it and go to the doctor and get some medicines and so on, but you never really solve the base problem, or you don't address the base problem. And and I try actively to do something about it. But then also knowing myself, it had been a struggle before, when I went in these periods that I was training more intensively, because of course, with the right amount of time and reading and research, you always can find good training programs, and you can find good habits and so on. But again, at my age, I know enough about me to know that if I don't have an external motivation, they are not long lasting, and they don't happen. So and if I don't have good coaching around me, so I have done a lot of mistakes before when I trained, and I trained too much, and I went in these periods that I could not train because I got injuries of over exercising, and start eating in a way to bulk, to create muscle, what is not maybe so smart when you are my age, and all this kind of stuff. So and then I decided that for me it was the right time to come and seek someone that that have experience and knows what they are doing, and have advised other people, and have have someone that have a lot of other people that they can compare with and adapt their strategies and individualize their strategies. And in my case with you, it worked perfectly. Then if I needed to say what my biggest learning, and I almost feel a bit, I'm very happy for it, but I almost feel a bit ashamed of saying it. We all learn at school the importance of eating correctly and balancing our diet and eating according to the wheel of food and so on. But in some strange way, I was never following that. You fall for the carbs and the sweets and all these things that give you these small pleasures and chemically activate you in a positive way. And I just realize now, after this month with you, how bad I was eating, and that I have to say that is the biggest transformation, is the discipline of eating in the correct way, still in a way that you eat everything and you still satisfied and you feel never angry, but eating correctly in a way that you see both the results in your health, but learning how to eat. I have to say that was my biggest wow moment.
Yeah, but is it not like when I think like I wasn't eating healthy, I'm still including probably oftentimes even a lot too much, like kind of foods I know that I shouldn't be eating, or I should be eating a bit less, but it's then in the end, like obviously I think also that you gotta have some kind of flexibility, but on the other hand, like more you eat like kind of in a when everything what you are eating is mostly healthy, then like the rest doesn't matter. And it's funny like how, like, because now if I think like back in my own thing, like if I could choose, like I would go to eat, I would choose always like to get some French fries and burger or pizza or something. And now when I think that if I have a free choose what I could be eating, that wouldn't be anymore what I would choose. I would choose totally different, even that those things are available, but because I know now how it makes my body feel. Maybe at the moment they are giving you a pleasure for a short, like a 5-minute time, and then right after you finish it, you are like, what did I do? And it's just that I don't know. Maybe it's getting smarter or older, or I don't know what it is, but.
No, but I think is you also have teach me one thing. I mean, that you make me realize a couple of things, like this accountability. So I remember that when we started, one of the things that I told you was, I still keep a healthy, active lifestyle. So where I try to walk and exercise and so on, and I said to you that I'm walking 10,000 steps per day around in average and so on. And that made me realize that the brain is very selective with what it remembers. Yes, I have a couple of days per month where I walk 10,000 steps. But when you start tracking it and you get the records over 9 months, they are not even 50% of the days that I walk 10,000 steps. And they are not far away. They are in the 8,000s and in the 7,000 and the 9,000s and so on, but they are not 10. And is this realization of tracking things, not in a very, how should I say, not in a, the routines should not, and this tracking should not become like a religion, but it's good to do at the time so that you get a check out of reality, And it's the same with food. I remember that in the beginning, you provided also an app where I could track my calories to start getting a little bit of a feeling where I was and what it meant to be a bit in a deficit and so on. And it took me 2 or 3 months to adapt to that. But then I sort of understood it. But so from times to times, you need really to check and saying, is reality really checking with my perception of things or not? And that is something that I learned during these 9 months.
It is like the tracking. It helps so much, because what gets measured gets you pay more attention. You start to actually care those things. Like it's saying, like if your whatever your goal is, it could be if your goal is to save some money, but you never look how much is going out, how much is coming in, and you just tell that your goal is to save money. And but if in the end of the month you are spending more than you are earning, obviously the goal, you are not reaching your goal. And it's same thing with the food. Like if you know how much you are, more or less how much is going out, but if you have no idea how much is coming in or what you are doing, it's very easy to say. And even you have a feeling like it's same with the work. Like if you think like that you might work very hard, very long days, but if you don't know how much you are making, it's very hard. Like that doesn't tell anything. It's same with the diet. If you think that you are doing so great, but then at the weekend you are letting a little bit more loosen and going out, and it's so easy to basically ruin everything what you have accomplished during the week just within a couple of days. And but that's it. It's not only in a diet. It's basically all areas in life, and just the tracking. It's with the steps. Like when you are able to see it, you are like that, because we tend to like overestimate what we are actually doing. And it's the same thing with the foods, with the steps. Like you think that, I'm doing okay, it's not that bad. But then when you have it in a paper or somewhere on your records, and you are seeing that maybe I wasn't actually that good as I thought.
No, our brain is it's very effective to to trick us in being this in saving energy and all these kind of things. So what it helped us in many situations through evolution, but right now in the society that we live, sometimes it works a little bit against us, sort of, at least against me. Then the other positive thing that came out of these 9 months, and it is that a big objective that I had was to go down in weight, and again to improve quite a lot of these under these medical conditions. And just to give a reference point, I'm not that short. I'm 182 in height, so 1 meter and 82 centimeters, and but I was weighing 104 kilos, and what was quite a lot. And if we take this BMI measurement, that is even if it's a bit pseudo scientifical, but I was extremely overweight, and I mean, it was not just the BMI. I was overweighted, but being in this a very natural deficit, where actually I'm eating today much more towards what I really need and what I consume in the day-to-day, because my work doesn't demand any physical work. I mean, it's I'm sitting in a desk and having meetings and stuff like that. I'm feeling that I'm eating the right calories, but steadily I have been today I'm weighing 92, almost 91 kilos. So in those 9 months is what is that? Is 12,
13 kilos.
12, 13 kilos, yeah. And you can see it, you don't see it from mouth to mouth, but in 9 months you see it. People around me comment. I feel it. I feel much. Everything have improved. I mean, from my mobility, my flexibility, my how much my endurance. I can do much more cardio. I mean, everything has improved. So it's absolutely no doubt. And the journey is not finished. I mean, I still have some weight to lose, but it's very sustainable to do it in this way. If I put it like that.
Yeah. And this is first of all, huge congrats. This is amazing progress. It doesn't happen every day, like to get someone, even, it's, if you think it like it's a 1.5 kilos per month throughout the 8-9 period of time, and which is very good progress. And because if you, like many people are getting frustrated, they think that, I lose 2 kilos a month, that's nothing, it's way too slow. Or if some months you lose 1 kilo, or some months you didn't even lose a weight. So how that progress for you, how it was looking like month to month, like was it going like, because obviously some people they lose faster in the beginning, some people takes a bit longer that it start to go. But then what I always tend to see that if you keep going like let's say 6 months, 9 months, year, then usually you get what you deserve. So if it's like for first month, for 2 months, you might be doing everything correctly, but you just don't see the results yet. But then in a longer period of time, more or less you get what you kind of deserve. So
yeah, absolutely. So in my case was the first 4 kilos there coming under the 100 kilos. It went rather fast. I think that I managed like in a 1.5 month, and that was just by. I actually don't have any idea how many calories I was consuming in average per day, because if you go then to this with the counting calories that I'm out of, and I've been out for a very long time now. But I went in deficit, so I was consuming around 2,100 calories per day. So, and I think that those kilos was just I just start consuming less calories per day, and that naturally with my with what I was doing and my metabolism and so on, it burned those ones. Then I had a little bit of a time there where after 1.5, 2 months where I was feeling a bit more angry, and I was physically I was much more active, and it slowed down a little bit. But then I don't really understand the mechanism, but it then started accelerating towards a steady pace every month. That I lost those 1.5, like you're saying, 1.5 kilo or something every month. It have helped quite a lot. So the diet, again, like I think that I mentioned it before, but I have not changed my diet in terms of what I was eating. Maybe before I could have eaten 3 pizzas a month, and I'm not eating 3 pizzas a month, but I have not stopped eating pizzas. So if I put it like that, and I'm not. So everything that I was eating before, I'm still eating, but then it's just I have adapted my amount of protein, so it's a higher percentage of protein daily that I take, a little bit less of carbs and much more greens and so on in my diet. That still keep me full. I have a sensation that I'm not hungry, but the total intake and that journey, it was challenging, I have to say, because it seems easy to consume protein. I mean, fish and meat and beans and so on, and whatever that people now decide to eat as a protein intake. But in those quantities actually that are necessary, it's an exercise of discipline, because at least in my case, I was heavy in carbs and sugar, and or the sugar was not a lot of quantities, but a lot of calories. But it was the protein intake that actually made the change, and choosing also protein sources that are efficient, like chicken breast, no fats, no nothing, so lean meats and so on. So it changed maybe a little bit the proportions, that maybe I'm eating much more chicken today than what I was doing before, and stuff like that. But that was that was the biggest change. So for me, it was a difficult period of adaptation to eat more protein, and I could not be disciplined every day. It was a process until that I could get there. But then one thing that you have done also very, very wisely, it was to always break every month, breaking my training routines. And the combination of those two aspects had a very positive effect through time. So that I was not training the same stuff like for 2 months. I was always breaking that routine. So the body was getting a bit of a shock. It was adapting to eat more protein and really get away from this addiction to carbs, or that quantity of carbs. and for me, what it made it. And now after 9 months, I could see that it's possible still to go back to those old habits. I will not do it because I don't want to end up in the same situation, but it could happen. But so I'm not saying yet that I'm totally out of the risk zone, but I see it like you're saying, like you said before. Over time, your brain gets a bit rewired, and you understand that what is good for you and what is not good for you, and you have an instinct that you build that's saying, I will not eat those fries because they don't gonna give me nothing. That is a very, very short pleasure that actually gonna damage me. And I still eat fries, but like you said, I don't eat them. I eat them now and then, but I don't eat them that 4 times a week, if I put it like that, or 5 times a week, or 6 times a week, or whatever. So that had been the biggest learnings and changes for me.
Yeah, this is I think this is the best way to explain it, like that you're still not trying to cut everything out like that, because it's not then you would rely only on your willpower and discipline, but now like you are still basically, you make sure, I don't know if I understood it, how you are doing it, like that your minimum is to eat those vegetables, have that one big salad per day, making sure you are having enough protein. And then when you hit those 2 goals, basically everything else is automatically going to be okay. And you have less, because there is a science actually behind why you have less cravings, because when you have protein, you have more fiber, it improves, those are most satiating macronutrients. And then once you have those 2 things, it's automatically less from something else. You have automatically less sweet cravings. You don't want to have sugar, you don't want to have those other things, or even if you want, or you are eating them, the amounts you are going to eat, they are going to be so less. And in the that's kind of positive circle where you are going in, and that's how it's possible to not feel like that you still can eat whatever you want, that you don't, you have, that is basically typical. What you are feeling is that you didn't even change that much, that you were just basically eating a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And instead of focusing, adding things instead of taking things away.
Away, exactly. Absolutely. It's adding things, and then the other thing, they just run a bit to the side. Then I have to say that it also have supported me quite a lot. It's not all the time that I answer, but you keep a track and you keep pushing, and you are always that voice of your conscious voice that is there and saying, have you done it? Have you done it? And not, at least in my experience, not in a way that I ever perceived as someone was hunting me, but it was a very positive and incentive, like, you are doing great progress, how is going and how I was feeling. It was never from a perspective of you need to do this or you need to do that. It was always challenging, so that I should feel the responsibility to put those goals and so on. And you were always there supporting and being very present. I can say that you and me have had at least a message conversation at least 3 times a week for the next for the last 9 months. So and that, so you became a very present part in my life. So and
great. Yeah.
To me it supported me. So
yeah, no, absolutely, and that is what I love to do. Like, it was like I said, for all my new clients, my goal is first to become friends, and then, like, it's not my style of coaching. Maybe somebody needs it, like a kind of military style, that this is to do. No, my goal is how I'm as a person, what works for me, and what is my style of coaching is that, like, I try you to understand that what you need to be doing, without kind of that I'm actually telling you that you need to do it, but that it comes from you, because there is a huge difference if I tell you that you have to eat protein, or if I explain you why you should be eating protein, and then in the end you end up doing exactly the same thing. But when that idea kind of coming from you, you understand that this is actually important for me, I need to do it, then it's a lot more likely that you are actually sticking with that plan.
And creating that. Absolutely. So but it is like that, Before, I always had a little bit of a smile every time that I saw these pictures, like in advertisement, or like in whatever. They could be these before and after pictures, and then I never really believed in the concept, and I was a bit cynical maybe about it. But the fact is, here I am now after 9 months, and you always recommended me to take those pictures to have as a reference, and here I am, and they are for real, those pictures.
Wow, yeah.
So they are for real, and it works, and so on. But it is important. I mean, it's a process of self-learning. It is actually what I take most of these last 9 months. Is a process of self-learning, and it's about that you decide that you really are determined to take care of yourself, so that you have as good qualitative time as you can have. So you want to take care of yourself, and that things don't happen overnight, and that you should not do any extreme changes in your life. That's a recipe that have worked for me. So I'm still, doing sort of the same things, and like I was doing before, I'm exercising way more than what I was doing. I'm exercising 3 times a week and around 1 hour. And I'm trying to walk to work and not to walk and not to drive and so on. So I'm physically more active, but it is an exercise where you decide that you want to do it, and you make that you are honest with yourself, because it starts with that. Because the day that you are not honest with yourself, then it doesn't really gonna work. And it is this realization that if you are not honest with yourself, it's sort of the biggest damage that you can do to yourself. It's the only person that you absolutely need to be honest is with yourself. And that, again, it's not that I was not doing it before, but I was not doing it as consciously. I was not conscious about it, and I was not. And I was not disciplined enough to keep a certain frequency that actually you need to do. So in the end of the day, no rocket science, and no a lot of new things that have came, but the results are here. So it's do the small things, do the small adjustments, change your life gradually, and and I see it now, and I'll keep with this journey. So
how do you mentioned about exercising, like changing things every 4 weeks, like how we have been doing it? What have you done in the past, and how it feels like this time? What was the difference?
So I was physically active when I was in my 20s, and then after I was not so much physical. I was doing stuff, like I could play squash or do badminton. I was doing stuff, but not physically active. Then when I came in my late 30s, I decided to start going to the gym, and I went to the gym. But at that time, a bit, almost instinctively, you look people around, you read a bit, you see a couple of videos, you read a bit on the internet, you understand the basic principles. But I was doing everything wrong, because I went to specialized training of muscles. I was focusing a specific muscle group and so on. And maybe you can do that if you are 20, because you're still going to get a lot of muscle growth and so on. But it was not giving me so much, and I was training way too much. I was training 6 days a week.
Wow.
And it was no resting time, and again it led to injuries and to almost no results. I actually got stronger during the period and so on, but it was just wrong. It was everything that I was doing was more or less wrong. I was doing stretching and I was doing all these kind of things, but it was just wrong, purely wrong. I was doing more damage to myself than good. I understand that now. The trainings now, they are all around. I don't focus in a muscle group. I think that your trainings from the beginning, I don't have any train pass that I don't do focus on everything. So I train. It's always an exercise for legs and for back and for breast, for chest and for arms. So you train almost everything without ever. You add a couple of months where I went up in weight, so that we focus on that. But I never could push myself, for example, to go to failure. To be there and be in failure, where you train so much that the muscle gets in failure, or at least I never pushed myself to that. But I have increased the weight load, at least in some muscle groups. I have increased it with 100%. So I started with breast with I don't even remember, but with 40-50 kilos, and now I'm closer to 100. And I started legs with bar and weights. I started with around I don't know, just the bar in the beginning, like 20 kilos, and today I'm closer to 100 also. So it's coming, but it's coming in a way that I push it a little bit without going to failure, and I allow it to take several months to happen.
Yeah.
So, but it's always a break. It's these things that to me was very important. Is some days you focus a little bit more on cardio, you go through all your body, but you do new exercises, you stimulate yourself in a different way. What helped me quite a lot.
Yeah, no, that's what I found out. Like what have worked for like myself, for many of my clients, this type of kind of thing, like that you focus one thing at a time and over several months. Like now you have been doing this for 9 months, so it's not always doing more. It's actually, like in your case, it was reducing, doing less, allowing your body to have some recovery, doing things like I'm a big believer of full body workouts, like you mentioned. Like it's because it's even you have been, like you said, you have been working out consistently 3 times per week, but obviously there have been weeks that it wasn't 3 times, you missed some workouts, but in over 9 months, past 9 months, there were never like really long periods that you missed several workouts. So you have been very consistent, and then it's that you have deserved your results. But it's often almost impossible or really hard to believe, like that you can see that, wow, how it's possible to get like actually better results by working out less. And this is something what I understood myself also as an exercise professional, an athlete, because mentality was always like that. If workout didn't feel exhausting, or if I wasn't tired after workout, it meant that it wasn't a good workout, that I needed to work out at least 1.5 hours. And now I'm 42, understanding that I'm not having that full hour often. Sometimes I have to do 20 minutes, it's a 30-minute, 15-minute sessions, but getting that consistency, that is more important than actually hitting perfectly for a couple of weeks and then either not having a time or being injured and not being able to work out as consistently as now. And in the long run, you see a lot better results and you feel just a lot better.
Yeah. That one thing that I would like also to mention that to me helped me quite a lot. So like I mentioned before, I travel quite a lot at work, and privately we travel quite a lot. And sometimes you get in these hotels that have an okay gym, or they will have the basic machines and so on, but they will not. But sometimes I also have been in hotels where they don't have any training facilities. And there you also have been very supportive, just giving these 5, 6, 8 exercises that you can do just with body weight, and like simple exercises that just to keep that, the movement happening. And that made all difference, because before when I was doing working trips, especially to Asia or to the US, where the time zones were different, it took me a bit of time to adapt to the time zone. And then it was all these dinners and whatnot, and training and exercise is nothing that you prioritize. And actually, again, is this perspective exercise. When I put it all together, I spend around 60, 70 days, 80 days per some years outside of home, what is quite a big proportion of the year that I was not using. But right now, even if I'm traveling, I'm always doing something. So, for example, during this vacation, I didn't have access to a lot of gyms, but then I was walking a lot, or I do other things, So this mindset is very important. And you also helped me with these exercises that kept feeling that I was doing something. So very, all in all, a very positive change.
Thank you. It sounds like I would love to take all credit from this, but honestly, when you were traveling, I know that you didn't feel every time motivated to work out, or you are. And it's I didn't do any workout for you, so it have been only you who have done all the work. And now results, when you look back 8-9 months, you have done the change, and I'm so proud of you. So for earlier we talked like, especially in the beginning, like when you started, like your how alcohol consumption, that it was impacting on your goals. So can you tell a little bit like how you have changed? Or did you change any change? Did you make any changes with regarding alcohol?
Yeah, I'm and it is what it is. It's I come from South Europe, where people normally, at least here in the Scandinavian countries, they have an image of people in the south that south of Europe that they drink moderately, but they can drink every day a little bit and so on. It was not my case, actually. When I was living in Portugal, I was not drinking that much, or I was drinking sometimes at some dinners and with some friends and so on, but it was not a habit. When I came to Sweden, and over the years, the Scandinavian culture is a weekend drinking culture. So most of the people that I know, they don't drink nothing during Monday to Friday. And Sundays they don't drink either, but Fridays and Saturdays, I mean, it how should I put it? It's over a long period of time is not healthy, or at least for me, was not healthy. I mean, it's a lot of quantities and so on. So you sort of compensate for not drinking in the rest of the week and so on. So I was drinking regularly, almost every weekend, at least a couple of beers or some glasses of wine on the Friday, and then on the Saturday and so on. And it became an habit, and not a good one. And one thing that people will realize very soon is, if you are in a way that you need to go down in weight, and you evaluate the ratio of calories that you get per unit of alcohol and so on, you sort of realize that is not sustainable. To combine alcohol in quantities with going down in weight and being living a bit healthier. And I will not. I'm sure that there is some positive effects of socially of drinking alcohol and so on, but physically, I mean, it's not a lot of good ones. Do I stop totally drinking alcohol? No, I have not. But I went much more for qualitative time when I drink alcohol. In the right dinner, in the right meal, is the same with eating beef. So by other reasons that have nothing to do with the training, mainly environmental reasons, I'm very conscious about how much beef or cow meat I eat. But that day that I eat it needs to be qualitative. It needs then to be a very good piece that I really enjoy, because I still enjoy it. And it is the same with the alcohol. I consume it, but I consume much more or less. It can go now 3-4 weeks that I don't consume any alcohol at all. And then that day that I'm in that dinner and I know exactly what wine I would like to drink, then I enjoy that glass of wine. But the consumption has reduced drastically, and is a pure. I mean, it's a pure. It does just don't go together, I don't have any feeling that I want to drink alcohol, because I know that the next day, if I drink it in quantity, the next day I'm going to feel like shit, and I don't want to feel good, and it's not good. So for me, and so that had been, I had a relation of a weekend relation with alcohol, and that relation had became now a monthly relation with alcohol. And the quantities are, I cannot even speculate how much I was drinking before, because I never thought about it, but it needs to be a 10th or a 20th part of what I was drinking before. And I don't feel any need to drink,
Yeah, no, that's amazing to hear, and it's this kind of changes, like alcohol. Unfortunately, it's it impacts in so many ways. Like it's, of course, it's those calories what you are taking in, but then also for the next day. Like if you ever try to track your sleep with your watch or something, I don't know how accurate, but you get pretty good trends. Like especially if you do it more often, how it's impacting to your sleep, and in that way, your next day you might not feel it that much, but okay, your recovery, it's not starting, it's not able to start. It starts only after, because first your body needs to work to get that alcohol out of it. How it's then at the night, it means that your heartbeat, like at least for me, it's like I need to drink 1 or 2 beers. Heartbeat is like 5 beats higher on average at night. If it's then more than 2 beers, if it's 3, 4, 5, then it's like a 10 beats higher. And then of course, then next day I feel it. I'm not well rested. I might fall asleep faster, but then that sleep quality, it sucks whole night. And then next day you are more tired. And there are even several studies, and I can just, with my own experience and from my clients, that feeling like that you are moving less without, you don't even notice these things. You are having more cravings. So it's not that when you feel sick that you are, I think there is study like shows that I think on average 300 calories more you are eating, even like with the junk food or with the fat sweets, when you are having, you are not having a full night of sleep. So and if you do it then that more often, it impacts on everything, and it's kind of a negative cycle. What is really hard, and this is also, like you mentioned earlier, it's being honest for yourself and understanding that okay, this is reality. And if you don't know it, like this is with the alcohol, I worked in the past with a couple like who really, that was a problem. It became habit. Like it's really hard to understand that if you have actually a problem. But if you are more than like it's several nights per week, even it's only 1, 2, 3, or if it's everyday thing. But if you look total amount per week what you are consuming, and there is, I don't know now how many portions it is, but if you look those numbers, they are there is no kind of healthy way of doing it, but it impacts so much more than we believe, but we are, like you said earlier, that we are so good to kind of ignore these things, like, and say that it's not that big a problem. But if someone is telling like that, what I love to like encourage to do is some kind of challenge with yourself, that try to go 30 days without. And if you can't imagine to go 30 days without alcohol, we have a problem.
Then exactly. Then it's a problem.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean like if you go the 30 days without, and after that you decide that I'm going back to drinking, then go for it. But just try it, how it feels like when your sleep quality is improving, how you are most likely you are seeing other benefits of also. Like, of course, there's that kind of social effect, what is missing, but I think it's also in our mind and head, and that we need to kind of consume something, because it's not it's really like that short term benefits, and then you have for those long term bad benefits.
Exactly, but it is it sort of the everything gathers around what we have been saying before, and it becomes a bit. It becomes a bit the these self-fulfilling prophecies, because yes, I mean, of course, some people, or I'll guess most of the people, in a moderate way, if you drink it in a moderate way, alcohol, it will allow you to be a bit more relaxed in certain situations and to start the conversation a bit easier, and so on and so on. But then the question that one needs to pose to itself is, what is really being hindering me of doing that without drinking that first glass of alcohol or that beer, and so on. So it becomes again a very much an exercise of self-knowledge and of insights and about oneself, and this is, I think, is just that the most of us go through life without really having the necessity to put themselves in that position, and then those decisions never really come into account. And this with alcohol, do I feel the same without alcohol as I was feeling before? Absolutely, I feel better. Does it make some situations a bit more, how should I put it, a bit odd? Yeah. If I go out, or if I'm with some friends, and then I decide to stop in the first beer and they continue to the fifth and the sixth and so on. Yeah, the level of conversation that and the wavelength that they're gonna be is not the same as mine, and that puts a bit of pressure on things. But I think it's in the end of the day, it is about you wanting something and realizing something what is better for you or not, and not just be a victim of the circumstances of the situations as they happen. So it's a lot of it needs to be this at least will to do a positive change, and yeah. So alcohol, I actually didn't mention it, and yes, I was drinking before. I'm drinking much less now. But I don't also see any reason whatsoever to go back to this. And in my case, it made also it have consequences by how should I say? The effect was that, for example, my wife have also decreased their consumption of alcohol because I'm not taking the glass of wine and she's not taking what is also good for her, and she realized it, and she's happy for it. It was nothing that we planned, but it just happened, and it becomes also a very positive effect of it, if we put it like that.
No, absolutely. And this is there any, like you mentioned this from your wife, is there any other, like with this your progress, like that, how it have affected other areas in your life, like energy levels, how is your cholesterol? Did you check, did you make any tests, or those personal relationships?
Yeah, I mean, so health-wise, I mean, my blood pressure is good. It's normal. It's actually almost it's very normal for what it should be. My cholesterol is also a little bit better, and that one is a bit difficult for me to understand if it is just the exercise and the diet, or if it is because I'm taking a medication for it. But it's better, so absolutely no doubt. I mean, when it comes to private life, it has some positive effects, because we are influenced by the people around us, right? So if I come and I change my habits in a conscious way, the people around will adapt to it. So my daughter is she was physically active, but now she maybe takes another pass on the week to run, because again you sort of see and are influenced by the people around you, and if those people are a bit more active and doing some more stuff. My wife comes to the gym with me quite more often, because instead of being at home, and she just says, well, why not? I don't go. I will also follow to the gym, and she follows that. So it has positives in their life, and it impacts the people around you in a positive way, in the same way that I'm impacted by the way that they do things and so on. So So it's good. So it's all these positive effects.
Yeah, no, this is, somebody said it like pretty well, like that you are average of 5 people you spend most time of, and if you, in your example, you changed your habits in a healthier one and better one, and now you are impacting your loved ones, these kind of things, they are actually, for me, they matter more than losing 12 kilos, 13 kilos. But if you are able to improve your blood pressure, showing as a father example for your daughter, getting your wife getting into a gym and changing habits, like those are things like really what are the most impressive.
But I can actually mention also one thing, that it was a change, and this was it was difficult to see at the beginning. My wife, she have been doing for a long time, like maybe 6 years. She have been doing this intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
So where 2 days per week she was just eating 500 kilocalories. What is little, It's I of course you can do it over a certain time of period, but I will not have that mental strength that she have done it. And she was feeling very comfortable, and he was having a very good impact for her. But she tried to convince me to do it. But again, I was feeling angry those days, and I could not do it. I tried a couple of times, and I could not, or I was not motivated enough to do it anyhow. But with the changes of habit, when I change my habits of eating and so on, and so we try not to cook different meals at home. So we eat the same meals, and then we try to I try at least to portion them in a way that he feels good. And actually, she's not going up in weight, and she's still feeling good. She's still doing it, but she's not doing it every week. So she eats like what I'm eating, but before she had difficult to do it because I was eating too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then she felt that pressure that some days she needed to take some days off of that and doing this intermittent fast. But then right now is we are actually having a much more balanced diet, the three of us at home, and and she's just doing the other one when her body tells to her now I should do it, but and she's not going up in weight or nothing like that. So that is also a very positive change. And she because even if you have done it for many years, some days, either because you are a bit more low on energy or whatever, some days are difficult, and she's as positive that she don't need to do it every week and so on. So also a positive change.
That's amazing to hear. So is there, before we wrap up, is there something like what kind of advice you would give someone who is just starting their weight loss journey, especially someone who is over 40, like in your case?
Yeah, I mean, the advice is that above all, you sort of you need to commit to yourself that you're gonna do that. It's and some days going to be easy, some days going to be difficult, but you need to have that base commitment that you are doing that for your own benefit, and it's something that you need to do. Be patient, be forgiven, and one day it's okay to deviate, but over a long period of time, over a week, over a month, be consistent and believe in those in that consistency, and it's going to happen. And I don't know if I read it somewhere or if I heard it somewhere. I mean, it was someone in an article or in a podcast or something that I heard sometime, that he compared the human body a bit to a car. So your body is like a car that you get, but you just get one in your lifetime, right? And if you decide to maintain the car and take good care of it and not run it too bad and accelerate too much and push it too much, then that car is going to serve you well during those 80 years, 70, 80, 90 years of your life. And when the car is new, it's much more forgiven. And I'm 46. I don't consider myself old in any way. I think that in many ways I'm in the peak of my life in many ways. But you start seeing those changes happening, and you cannot run the car anymore like when you were 20. And maybe it's time that you start paying a bit more attention if you want that car to still do the long trips when you are still 70 or 60 or 80. And you need. I became conscious about that, and maybe I should have become conscious about that when I was 20 or 30. I don't know, but it was now. And so my advice is that, be conscious that, taking good care of yourself is gonna most likely allow you to have, when you become older, you have a much higher quality of life. So it's an investment that you are doing in yourself and in your quality of life, and with that of the people around you, because you'll be able to do things with your loved ones and with your friends and with your and not spending those years a little bit maybe with more difficulties. So my advice would be that make a contract with yourself, and hang on, and things will happen, and maybe they'll take 1 year or 2 years to happen. But if you keep that consistency, they will definitely happen, because is the biology and the chemistry of our body is going to push you in the right direction. That's it.
And that is exactly like you said, that basically the only way in fitness is to fail. How to fail is to give up. So if you completely give up and say that I'm not going to do it anymore, that's the only way. Otherwise, if you keep going, it's only a matter of time before you reach your goals. And like you said, it's never too late. Until you are living, you are breathing, it's not too late. But don't. That is the best advice. Like it doesn't matter how old you are.
But I would like to refer to two things. I said it before, but very important for me. So start with that. I needed also some external influence. That in this case was you, and you supported me quite a lot, a great deal through my journey. And this sort of learning or conclusion that I came with, exercise is very important, and you need to do it because you need to keep the body going, and it will have a lot of positive effects. But especially when it comes to weight reduction, you can try the crazy diets, you can try all these things that you want to do, but in the end of the day, you need to find what fits you when it comes to having a healthy, balanced diet. And it seems crazy that, it's a 3 billion. It's not 3 billion. I read the numbers. It's a crazy amount of money that people, that the economy around this with weight lossing and so on, it is total in the world. The formula is actually pretty simple, but it's something fundamental in our brain works, and this search for easy calories that right now is not is hindering us of having a healthy life. And you need to realize that it is 80% of it is about having a very, very healthy diet, and the healthy diet is not salads and so on. It's a balanced diet where you balance things. That is A and O. But then you need to always to complement it with a more active life, because otherwise it doesn't work. You just go back to it. You don't get those. You don't get the dopamine in the brain working in the way that it should. So you need to rewire yourself a little bit. So that will be my advice. Worked for me. Again, I was not a believer, and here I am 9 months after. So I don't know.
But this is exactly, I love to do this kind of interview, like now and before, and what happened and that story behind. Like, because if I would post some before after picture from you, like you mentioned those pictures without having actually that story, it's not really relatable. Or you think that the art, they like those kind of pictures, they are very easy to to find from internet, or use some picture, like get some false pictures or before, like they are very easy to do. But then when you have that kind of story behind, and like you said, that you were not big believer of before after pictures, but now when you see your own picture with that story, what you just told, that's amazing. It's possible, and it's not. It's realistically possible. It doesn't mean that you have to really like starve yourself or give up everything, and being in some weight loss camp for being that kind of to get that kind of results. Like you have lived your life, had busy life, you have traveled, you got off track, but you still were consistent enough. And when you do things consistently enough for a longer period of time, it's only a matter of time, or you will get. It's guaranteed that you will get results.
Yeah.
Is there anything else what you would like to share, like from social, if somebody want to contact you, or I don't know if you are in social media or anything else, what you would like still to share?
I'm not in social media, so I'm very practical. Well, I'm in social media because I follow, but I don't post stuff. But I'm just in LinkedIn, and you can share my name. It's not a problem. And if someone would like to speak with me, and absolutely, I'll be more than happy to support someone to make a positive life change. No, I. Even if you have a bit of difficulty to every time that I try now here to give you credit, I still give you a lot of credit. You know, it is you spoke to me in a way that I could understand, and in a way that it was accessible to me to motivate myself to make that change. And it might be that it is like that with every personal trainer out there. But I'm 46, and you are the first one that I met, at least, that made that impact to me. So I think that you should also take quite a lot of credit for the positive changes that you have in the people that you come in contact with and that you train and so on. So because that's the reality of things. So. Or at least it is my reality of things.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. Maybe it's just the mentality. I really struggle to take these kind of credits. Of course, it feels good. I would be lying to not mention it, but it's still, in the end, I always love to think that it's not that I didn't do. I do my best what I can to motivate you, but in the end, I haven't done workout for anyone. I didn't eat any salad for you. I didn't eat any protein for you. So you did all your work yourself, and that's why I'm so happy for you, proud of you, what you have accomplished until now, and we'll see where your journey brings you in the future.
Very good.
So thank you, Daniel, and
thank you very much, Turo.
Talk to you soon.
And then.
Hold up, friend. Do you love FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast.